I was in my study, surrounded by the dusty scent of old books, half-heartedly browsing through my father's journals. He had just passed a few weeks ago, leaving behind the family estate and a hefty inheritance. The ache in my chest was still fresh, but the thought of carrying on his legacy kept me moving. Then my phone buzzed. Just a simple notification, my bank alert. I almost ignored it, but something made me glance at the screen. My heart stopped. Transfer of $500,000 to account ending in 5647. Transaction successful. I could feel the blood drain from my face. That money, my father's legacy, was gone. I dialed the bank immediately. "Hello, this is Martin. I need to report an unauthorized transaction." The customer service rep spoke calmly. "Of course, sir. Can you confirm the amount and the recipient account?" $500,000 to account ending in 5647. My voice was barely a whisper. "Let me check." It appears the transaction was made using your authorized credentials." I could feel my jaw tighten. "By whom?" "It was initiated from your joint account, by Mrs. Lisa Randall." My hand shook, gripping the phone. "That's impossible. My wife's on a retreat, she wouldn't." My mind raced. Lisa had always been organized, never made rash decisions. Retreats, yoga, wellness workshops. It was her thing lately. I had been supportive, thinking she needed an outlet, but this, had I missed something? Was I really that oblivious? I knew marriage had its ups and downs, but this felt like betrayal on a whole new level. I called Mike, my oldest friend and the one person who always kept it real with me. "Hey Mike, you got a minute?" "Sure, buddy. You sound weird." "What's going on?" I hesitated, trying to keep my voice steady. "Lisa, she just transferred $500,000 from our account." Silence on the line. "Say that again?" Mike finally responded. "She took all the inheritance money, and she's on that retreat. Martin, I've been meaning to tell you. I've seen Lisa around town, and not alone." My grip tightened around the phone. "What do you mean? Around town? She's supposed to be on a retreat." "Yeah, but last week I saw her at that new wine bar with some guy. They looked cozy." My chest felt tight. "Why didn't you tell me?" I didn't want to jump to conclusions. Thought maybe it was just a friend. But now, my mind reeled. I wanted to punch something, scream, confront her. But I couldn't act on emotion. Not yet. "Mike, I need to find out where this retreat really is. Can you help me?" "Of course. Let's meet up tomorrow. We'll figure it out." I glanced at the framed photo of Lisa and me on our wedding day. My hands shook as I turned it face down. "Yeah, thanks." Before hanging up, Mike's voice dropped to a serious tone. "Martin, whatever's going on, don't lose your cool. You need a plan." I couldn't help but let out a bitter laugh. "Trust me, I'm done playing the nice guy. I knew I needed more than just a confrontation. I needed proof, evidence, and, most of all, I needed to know why." The sound of tools clattering on the wooden bench brought me back to reality. I'd been standing there, hands frozen midair, trying to process what I'd just heard from Mike. Lisa, at a wine bar, with someone else. I looked around the workshop. My father's legacy, every plank, every tool, every scar on the workbench had a story. Dad taught me to build things from scratch. He also taught me that people's intentions are like wood grain. Sometimes they run deep and straight. Other times they're twisted and knotted. I guess I'd been too blind to see the knots in my own marriage. Mike's voice cut through my thoughts. "Martin, you still there?" Yeah, I'm here. Just trying to wrap my head around this. I didn't want to believe it either. You know Lisa better than anyone, but when I saw her laughing with that guy, something didn't sit right." "Who was he? Did you recognize him?" "No, some tall guy, athletic build. Couldn't hear much from where I was sitting, but they looked pretty close." My mind wandered back to when Lisa and I first met. I was just out of the military, honorably discharged after an injury. The world felt big and strange without the rigid order I'd known for years. Then Lisa came, into my life full of laughter and spontaneity. She made me feel like I wasn't just some broken soldier trying to find his way. But that was a long time ago. Things had changed. Or maybe I'd just been too busy building this workshop and trying to carry on Dad's legacy to notice the cracks forming. Remember when Lisa got into those wellness retreats? I asked Mike, my voice heavy. Yeah, she wouldn't stop talking about that. First one. Came back all zen and weirdly distant. I rubbed my temple. It wasn't always like that. She used to be present. We'd talk, laugh. Then one retreat turned into two, then three, and she started talking about this life coach who was helping her find herself. Did you ever meet the guy? No, she always said he was just some spiritual guide, never thought twice about it, until she started hiding her phone. Getting defensive. Martin, do you think she's been seeing this guy the whole time? I swallowed. Hard. I don't know. But I'm starting to think I've been a damn fool. A few months back, Mike had made a joke. Something about how Lisa was spending more time on her phone than with me. I'd laughed it off. Said she was just going through a phase. Maybe I didn't want to see the truth because that meant admitting something was broken. Or maybe I was just too caught up in making this workshop a success to notice my own wife slipping away. You really didn't see it coming? Mike asked, his tone softer now. No. I thought she was just finding herself. You know, trying to deal with life after Dad's death, I wanted to give her space. Mike sighed. Sometimes space just gives people room to wander. A bitter laugh escaped me. And I gave her miles. Mike's words lingered, gnawing at me. Had I been so focused on honoring Dad's memory that I let my own marriage fall apart? So, what are you going to do now? Mike asked. I'm not sure, but I'm not going to confront her yet. I need proof. Real proof. If she's with this guy, I'm not going to let her just walk away with $500,000. That money was Dad's. Life work. You want me to help track her down? I looked at my father's old photograph hanging on the workshop wall. Yeah. But first, I need to get into her phone. There's got to be something there. Texts, emails, photos. Think you can get past her password? I smirked, feeling a spark of determination. I know her well enough, she hasn't changed it in years. Same one since our wedding day, her mom's birthday. All right, let's figure this out. We'll get to the bottom of it. Thanks, Mike. I'll call you once I have something. The workshop suddenly felt suffocating. I needed air. Stepping outside, I could feel the cool breeze cut through the heat of my anger. I wasn't just mad at Lisa. I was furious at myself for being so damn naive. But I wasn't going to let this slide. Dad didn't raise a fool. If she thought I'd just roll over and let her take what he built, she was wrong. The house was too quiet that night. I couldn't sleep. My mind kept replaying Mike's words. Lisa at a wine bar with another man. I had to know the truth. It wasn't just about the money anymore. It was about my sanity. I sat in the dark living room, Lisa's laptop on the coffee table in front of me. I knew she'd taken it with her to the retreat, but last night when she came back to grab some clothes, she left it charging in the hallway. I dialed Ted, my old buddy from the service. Martin, what's going on? You never call this late. Need your help. It's complicated. He sounded more alert. Shoot, Lisa, I think she's cheating. And she stole $500,000 from our account. Jesus, you sure? Not entirely. But I have her laptop. Can you help me crack it? Ted hesitated. You sure you want to do this? If you find something, I need to. No, Ted. I can't just sit here like an idiot. A sigh. All right. I'll guide you through it. Ted walked me through a few steps, plugging a USB with a bootable hack program and bypassing her basic security. It took less than 10 minutes. Lisa never was good with technology. Okay, Ted said, his voice muffled. You're in. Look for recently accessed files or any saved passwords. I opened the browser. My hands felt like ice. Martin, you good? Yeah, just nervous. Focus. Start with her email. I found it quickly. No password required since it was saved. My eyes scanned the inbox. Then I saw it. A message from someone named Greg. Found something? Ted asked. An email. From a guy named Greg. Subject says, "Can't wait to start our new life." Ted cursed under his breath. Open it. I did, and my stomach twisted. Greg had sent her a flight confirmation for 2 to Costa Rica. They were leaving in 3 days. I read aloud. I booked us the villa. It's secluded, just like we wanted. Once we're there, no one will ever find us. Ted's voice was grim. She's leaving you, man. Not just that. She's using my father's inheritance to start a new life with him. I felt something break, inside me. All these years I thought Lisa was just lost, trying to find herself. I never thought she'd replace me. Anger and pain mixed into a volatile storm. My father's money, his legacy, our future, gone, just like that. It wasn't. Martin, Ted said cautiously. You can't just confront her, she'll deny everything. Who is this Greg guy? Check her messages, there's got to be more. I opened the messaging app. My hands were still shaking. The latest chat was with Greg. I scrolled up, weeks of conversations, photos, plans to meet, and bank details. Greg's been helping her funnel the money into offshore accounts, I muttered. Ted's voice hardened. That's fraud. You have enough to go to the cops. Not yet. I want to know everything first. I'm not letting her get away with this. It wasn't just about Lisa anymore. This Greg guy was a con artist. I needed to find out who he really was. Wait, I said, opening a folder labeled Retreat Documents. Inside, I found photos of Lisa and Greg at various retreats, hand in hand, laughing. One stood out, a group photo with a woman in the background. Her name tag read, Rachel. Who's Rachel? Ted asked. No idea, but maybe she knows something. Could be a witness. Track her down. I pulled up Lisa's social media. I never really paid attention to her posts, but this time I dug deep. I found a photo of her and Rachel from a few months back, tagged at a local cafe. If Lisa was involved, in something deeper with this guy, maybe Rachel saw it happen. I'll head to the cafe tomorrow, I said. Ted grunted. You're not going in alone, are you? I have to. I'll call you if I need backup. Be careful, man. This Greg sounds like trouble. I nodded even though he couldn't see me. If he thinks he's walking away with my father's legacy, he's dead wrong. I stayed up all night, piecing together more messages, taking screenshots, and saving every file. By morning, I had enough evidence to destroy both of them. But first, I needed to meet Rachel. It was still dark outside when I pulled myself off the couch. I hadn't slept at all. Lisa's betrayal kept replaying in my mind. The texts, the flight tickets, the photos with Greg. The anger was eating me alive. I knew I had to be smart. Lashing out wouldn't change anything. I needed a plan, cold, calculated, and airtight. I wasn't going to let them take my father's legacy. I called Ted first. Martin, it's early. You all right? I have a plan, but I need your help. Ted grunted. All right, lay it on me. I'm going to secure the rest of my assets without Lisa knowing. Then I'm hiring a PI to track her and Greg. I want solid evidence. Ted chuckled. I was worried you'd go all guns blazing. This I can help with. I'm not going to be reckless. I need proof. Enough to hit her legally and financially. Good call. You need a lawyer too. I know. I'll contact Dan this morning. He helped with Dad's estate. Trustworthy guy. Ted paused. And once you have proof, then I'll make sure they can't touch another penny. I made the call to Dan as soon as his office opened. Told him I needed a meeting about securing my assets. I didn't mention Lisa. Not yet. If I let Dan know about the affair too soon, it might complicate things. I needed to make sure everything looked like routine financial management. At the law office, Dan greeted me with a firm handshake. Good to see you, Martin. What's on your mind? I forced a smile. Just want to make sure everything from Dad's estate is secured. You know, with the market the way it is. I want to protect what's left. He nodded. That's wise. We can move your liquid assets into a secure trust. That way only you will have access. Perfect. Let's do that. Dan raised an eyebrow. You seem tense. Everything okay? I hesitated. Just being cautious. Can you also check if any recent transactions might have jeopardized the estate? Of course. I'll run a full audit. Thanks, Dan. I'll wait for your call. On the way out, I called Ted. Lawyer's on board. He's securing the rest of the inheritance. Smart. Next step? Private investigator. I want to know what Lisa and Greg are planning before they make a move. I know a guy discreet. You'll have your evidence by the end of the week. It was coming together. For once, I felt in control. If Lisa thought I'd just let her walk away, she was dead wrong. That evening, I went to the cafe where Rachel had been tagged in the photo. I waited near the entrance trying to look casual. After half an hour I saw her, a petite brunette with tired eyes. I approached her cautiously. Rachel? She looked at me confused. Yes? I'm Martin, Lisa's husband. Her eyes widened. Oh, I didn't think, please. I just need to know what's going on. Rachel bit her lip. I'm not sure what you mean. I know about Greg. I know he and Lisa are planning to leave. I just need to understand why. She glanced around and motioned for me to sit. Greg? He's not who you think. He runs these retreats to find women, vulnerable women, gets them hooked on his spiritual journey crap, and then he drains them, financially, emotionally. How do you know this? I went to one of his retreats. He tried it with me, too. I left when I saw him getting too close to Lisa. I didn't know how to tell her. She seemed obsessed. Why didn't you warn me? I didn't know how. Plus, Lisa, she was defensive anytime someone questioned Greg. I clenched my jaw. So, she fell for his game. Not just fell, she's completely lost in it. He's got her convinced that she needs to leave everything behind for a new life. Did you hear anything about Costa Rica? Rachel nodded. He talked about setting up a retreat center there, somewhere they could live free from material burdens. I forced a laugh. Meaning, with my money. Yes. I thanked Rachel and left, my mind reeling. Greg wasn't just an affair. He was a predator, a professional con artist. I had more than enough to confront Lisa, but that wasn't enough. I wanted her to see the reality of what she'd done, and I wanted Greg to pay. Back home, I called Ted, got more intel. Greg's a scam artist, uses retreats to manipulate women. Ted whistled. You're dealing with a pro. I'm going to set a trap. Let Lisa believe I'm broke. No money left. See how she reacts. Risky. What if she bolts? I'll make sure she doesn't. And Greg? I'll hit him where it hurts. Public exposure. If I can link his retreats to financial scams, he's finished. How do you plan to pull that off? Fake a bank notification on Lisa's phone. Make it look like I lost everything. If Greg sees that, he might ditch her. Ted laughed. Now that's playing dirty. I'm done playing nice. I spent the next few hours crafting a fake bank alert, something subtle but believable. Then I waited. The real show would begin when Lisa saw it. I wasn't just fighting for money anymore. I was fighting for my dignity. If Lisa thought she could throw me away for some manipulative fraud, she was about to learn the hard way. The next evening, I was in the kitchen when I heard the front door creak open. Lisa was back. I kept my eyes on the cutting board, chopping vegetables like nothing had changed. She walked in, her face flushed and cheerful. Hey babe, you're cooking? I smiled, calm, collected. Yeah, figured we could have a nice dinner tonight. She leaned in for a kiss, but I turned my cheek. Her smile faltered. Everything okay? Just a lot on my mind. She set her bag down and glanced at me. Anything you want to talk about? Maybe later. Go freshen up. All right. She headed to the bathroom. I took a deep breath. My heart was racing, but I couldn't let it show. I needed her to think everything was normal. When she came back, I was setting the table. "You're in a good mood," she noted. "Just thought it's been a while since we did something together." She smiled again, but it didn't reach her eyes. We sat down and I poured her a glass of wine. "So, how was the retreat?" I asked casually. "Good. Really good. I feel refreshed." "That's nice." I swirled my glass. "You know, I've been thinking about taking some time off myself." She perked up. "Oh? Where to?" "Maybe Costa Rica." Her hand froze mid-air. "Costa Rica? Why there?" I shrugged. "Just heard it's nice this time of year. Thought it'd be good to get away. Start fresh." She tried to hide her discomfort. "Yeah, that sounds nice." Her eyes darted around the room. I knew she was thinking about the tickets with Greg. I could see it now, the realization that I knew. But she wasn't sure how much. "By the way," I said, pulling out my phone, "I got this weird bank notification the other day." She stiffened. "What kind of notification?" "Someone transferred $500,000 from our joint account." Her face went pale. "What? That's impossible." I looked her dead in the eyes. "Is it, Lisa?" she stammered. "I mean, are you sure? Maybe it's a mistake." "Already checked. You authorized it." She was silent, eyes wide. I leaned back. "You know, it's strange. That money was supposed to secure our future. Dad's legacy." Her voice was barely a whisper. "I didn't save it," I cut in. "I know about Greg." Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. "I saw the emails, the messages, the photos. You weren't on a retreat. You were planning a new life with him." Tears welled in her eyes. "Martin, I raised my hand. Spare me the excuses." She wiped her cheek. "It wasn't supposed to be like this. I just felt trapped. You were always at the workshop, always busy with your father's legacy. I needed more." "More what? Money? Adventure? A new life without me?" Her lip trembled. "It wasn't just about the money. I wanted to feel alive. By stealing my inheritance and running off with a con artist?" Her eyes widened. "Greg's not—" "Yes, he is. You think you're his first? He's done this before. Finds women at these retreats, makes them feel special, then drains them dry." "That's not true." I leaned forward. "I have proof. And so do the police." Her eyes darted around. "The police?" "Yeah. Turns out you can't just steal $500,000 without consequences. Greg's whole scam is unraveling as we speak." She looked desperate. I didn't know." "Of course you didn't. You were too busy being his next victim." Her hands shook as she reached for my arm. "Martin, please. I didn't mean to hurt you. I thought he loved me." I pulled my arm away. "You thought wrong." My phone buzzed. A message from Ted. "Greg's office just got raided. They found enough evidence to put him away for a long time." I showed her the text. "See? Your great love story just crumbled." She covered her mouth, sobbing. "And as for us..." I pulled out the divorce papers and dropped them on the table. "Sign them, you'll get nothing." She stared at the papers, then at me. "You can't do this." "I already did. My lawyer secured the assets days ago. You're leaving with nothing." Her voice cracked. "Where will I go? What will I do?" "That's your problem now. Maybe you should have thought about that before plotting behind my back." She looked broken, truly shattered. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. I got up, grabbed my coat, and headed for the door. Before I left, I glanced back. "By the way, don't bother calling Greg. He won't be answering anytime soon." She sank into the chair, defeated. I walked out of the house, the cool night air hitting my face. It was over. I'd lost a wife, but I reclaimed my life. Dad would have been proud. I stood in the workshop, sunlight streaming through the dusty windows. The familiar scent of wood and varnish filled the air. It had been weeks since everything fell apart, and in a way came together. Love. It can make you blind, make you ignore the obvious, cling to hope even when reality is tearing at the seams. I always thought Lisa was my partner, the person who'd stick with me through anything. But betrayal changes you. It forces you to see the truth no matter how much it hurts. Mike walked in, wiping his hands on a rag. "Hey, thought I'd drop by. How's it going?" I smiled. "Better, a lot better." He grinned. "You look more like yourself. Workshop's coming along too." "Yeah, feels good to get back to what I love." Ted joined us, leaning against the workbench. "You did good, Martin. Not many people would have kept their cool the way you did." I nodded. "Anger's easy, but staying composed, that's what Dad would have wanted." Ted clapped me on the shoulder. "Damn right." Rachel came by later, bringing coffee. We sat on the porch, just watching the world go by. She glanced at me. "You holding up okay?" Surprisingly, yes. Lisa reached out to me. Apologized. "She's struggling." I took a sip. "She made her choices. I just hope she learned something from this." Rachel smiled faintly. "You didn't let it break you. That's what matters. I used to think revenge meant hurting the ones who hurt you. But real revenge, it's surviving, it's moving on. It's proving that betrayal won't define your life." Mike laughed. "So, what's next?" I grinned. "Rebuilding, the workshop, and myself." Ted chuckled. "That's the spirit." Rachel raised her cup. "To new beginnings." I clinked my mug against hers. "To new beginnings, and never losing yourself again." Sometimes the sweetest revenge is simply surviving the storm and coming out stronger.